And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
Here's an interesting question from Peggy, who writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, John, do you think Katie Porter would be better or worse than Gavin Newsom?
Oh, boy. That's like asking me if I'd rather get shot in the chest or the face.
Little D.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, one of the incentives for people to ditch gas-guzzling cars for electric cars was that if you made the big switch, you wouldn't have to buy gasoline anymore, and you certainly wouldn't have to pay a gas tax. Well, a lot of people decided to take them up on that offer, including our very own Randy Wang, and now they're trying to screw you.
I'm not paying my fair share, apparently, and since they expect everybody to transition to electric cars, at some point the gas tax just isn't going to be bringing in the bucks. So the brilliant ad wizards at Caltrans have decided to have a pilot program to see if people would prefer paying a tax per mile that you drive, no matter what kind of car you have.
So people who are priced out of living next to where they work are now going to get hit extra hard.
For more on this pilot program, here's CBS 8 in San Diego.
I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Caltrans is now taking a close look at a proposed per-mile road charge, which could be applied to all drivers across the state. CBS 8's Richard Allen is here now with how drivers are reacting. And, Richard, you also have where a similar plan is already in effect.
Well, that's right. We are very familiar with this sort of proposal down here in San Diego. Now, Caltrans has wrapped up a pilot program on this per-mile road charge, a way to generate road repair funds now covered by the gas tax. And while the state has said that this mileage tax, if passed, would replace the fuel tax, not everyone's convinced.
Yes, because they totally end taxes.
Here's an idea. People assume that the car tax goes to pay for things like roads, and it doesn't. It goes to the California General Fund. But since you're taxing cars specifically, items that are used for transportation, why not make it so that all of those dollars goes to the roads?
The state's budget has doubled in the last 7 years, and we don't have any money to have a project that pre-paves the 405 faster than every other weekend for a year.
It's an innovative way to collect funding for roads and highways based on how many miles you drive instead of how many gallons of gas you buy.
The state is calling it the road charge, in their words, paving the way toward California's transportation future.
Because as we move toward a zero-emission future, the gas tax won't last forever.
Currently, that 59-cent a gallon gas tax, the highest in the nation, pays for about 80% of California's road repairs. But with more drivers switching to electric vehicles, the state is anticipating less funding for those repairs, leading to this proposed mileage fee for drivers. Earlier this year, Caltrans completed a pilot program to test out a road charge system, which included a flat per-mile fee of 2.8 cents per mile, as well as...
Wait a second. 2.8 cents per mile?
Figure out what it would cost you to go from home to work and back every day.
$1. They want $1 out of me every time I commute. And my commute's short. It takes forever because the freeways suck, but it's only 17 miles each way. But let's say that you decided the only place that you could afford to have a home and a family is you live in Riverside or Lancaster and you commute to Los Angeles. That is going to add up and is going to add up on the people on the middle and lower ends of the economic scale.
Well, and this from a group that is obsessed with equity. All they talk about is race. All they talk about is sex. All they talk about is sexual orientation and everything associated with identity politics. And yet they come up with a tax like this that would be the most regressive tax imaginable, punishing people who are already wasting a lot of their time sitting in traffic going to work because they can't afford to live next to their office.
Even with my short, pathetic commute, it would be about $250 a year for the privilege of driving to Culver City.
And this isn't for any new initiative that would build more freeways or would build more lanes or would make traffic better in California. This is just to continue the programs that we have now, which clearly aren't working.
As well as an individualized fee based on a vehicle's fuel economy. The pilot also tested alternate ways of reporting mileage to the state, including odometer readings, as well as a transponder device that could measure the number of miles traveled. Not surprisingly, many...
Great. So the state of California now wants access to the computer in your car. How long before they start abusing that? That's a trick question, too.
They're going to start selling your travel data?
This is what they do because they can't help themselves. They want to be able to control just exactly how fast you go in the car. We know Scott Wiener has talked about this before, the state senator from San Francisco, where they want to make it so the state can regulate how fast your car can go. Think about that for a second. That is an unbelievable amount of power that Sacramento is asking for. If they then have a computer inside your car that will read your odometer, what do you think the odds are they'll use it for other things too?
Not surprisingly, many drivers are not giving this idea the green light.
Oh, boy.
You knew that was coming.
I don't think it's a fair situation. I think maybe paying like kind of a set fee across the board would be a good idea, and maybe it's
How about the taxes that we already pay just to live here should be going towards the roads, because I couldn't tell you what they go towards right now.
Well, here is also a tell. This goes to show you that they aren't the global warming alarmist that they claim to be. Because if you think that global warming is going to kill the planet and we're all going to be dead in 10 years, you need everyone in an electric car pronto. And the fact that they're going to change the way the taxes work so that they hit the electric car people really hard shows you that they don't believe what they're saying. Because if you honestly believe that, you'd want everyone in the state of California in an electric car, and you'd incentivize it every way you can. And now they're doing the opposite. They're telling you they're going to help you, and then they end up punishing you. Well, who's going to buy an electric car now?
a lower fee, like, something comparable around like 100, 150, where families can afford that.
Currently, Hawaii is the only state with a mandatory per-mile road usage charge for electric vehicle drivers.
I guess I'm not taking an electric car on the road to Hana.
Yeah, those islands are tiny. How far could you go anyway?
Not far.
Who pay $8 per 1,000 miles driven, capped at $50.
Okay, that's almost nothing. I think you drive around Maui 7 times and you haven't hit 1,000 miles.
I think if I lay down, I can go from one side of Niihau to the other.
Who pay $8 per 1,000 miles driven, capped at $50, or an annual fee of $50. Drivers must report their odometer readings during an annual vehicle safety inspection.
An extra tax like this would really hurt.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells calls this idea of a per-mile road fee a regressive tax.
Somebody who's upper middle class or wealthy, they can afford it. That's fine. But, the very people that we always say we're trying to help, the middle class and the poor, they're going to suffer from this pretty significantly.
Some drivers say while they want California's roads to be well-maintained.
Wait, they're not well-maintained now, and that's with the 60 cents a gallon gas tax.
No, we pay through the nose here, but guess what? You drive right over that state line into Arizona, and the roads get better instantly.
Some drivers say while they want California's roads to be well-maintained, they're not convinced this is the right way to fund it.
I'm up for more information, and I think we should keep going with this discussion and then see what's fair and right for everybody.
Oh, boy.
And this is why they can do it, because those are the people who vote here.
And many critics also have concerns over privacy, especially if a transponder device is used to track travel data that is then shared with the state.
So, Richard, now that pilot program by Caltrans has wrapped up, where does the move to adopt a per-mile charge go from here?
Well, that's right. So the pilot program wrapped up earlier this year. We're expecting to get the results maybe later this year, maybe early next year. Actually, though, it will be up to the state legislature to decide whether this road charge will replace the fuel tax and exactly how that would be implemented. A lot of questions still remain.
I think they got to find a way to have those two taxes go concurrently.
Not sure what they're going to do. I drive an electric, though, and I know I'm not paying those taxes, and I'm getting to use the roads that others are paying for.
Oh, yeah. Except you're paying triple the car registration because they deal with those by weight now. So my $600 a year to pay for my registration on my Chevy Bolt, that should cover my contribution to the freeways.
And the takeaway here is don't believe them. Whenever they incentivize something, because they're trying to nudge you in a certain direction to do what they want you to do, don't assume that that's going to last forever. They're going to go back to doing what they always do, which is punishing you.
We've got to find a way to make it equitable.
Exactly.
Oh, no, don't use that word.
Oh, they're just as bad as the politicians.
We've got to find a way to make it equitable.
Exactly. In 10, 15 years from now, just more and more people will be driving electric.
And the roads are just going to get worse.
Have to explore options. All right, we'll stay on top of it. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
So there's the latest on Caltrans looking at ways to charge you for every mile that you drive in California.
And while Sacramento is looking for more ways, as Randy said, to punish motorists, Gavin Newsom just signed a bill that will fund high-speed rail. High-speed rail, of course, that only exists in your imagination.
For more on Gavin's cadre of bills that he signed over the weekend, here's Fox 40.
Friday morning, Governor Gavin Newsom signing into law a stack of 6 bills geared toward addressing energy affordability, environmentalism, and transportation.
We're all about the how.
You know what's weird is every time Gavin has one of these signing ceremonies, he'll never tell you what the bills are that he's signing.
Strange.
So which is the one that lowers my energy bill? I'd love to hear about it.
Not about the what and the why.
The legislation aims to stabilize California's gas supply, preventing price spikes, but the governor also spotlighted initiatives.
Oh, yeah, they want to give a massive loan to the refiner in Benicia to beg them not to close.
Well, he knows if that refinery closes, that's really bad news for him and his presidential prospects.
But the governor also spotlighted initiatives to reduce utility costs.
$60 billion of tax rebates on electricity bills.
How do I get that?
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it because they've only been going one way for me.
That's what this bill represents, $60 billion.
How much money in rate hikes did PG&E get over the last year?
And what's going to happen when they have to pay out all the settlements for the fires?
That's what this bill represents, $60 billion. We've got to manifest our ideals and our goals. And so this lays it out, but it lays it out without laying tracks over folks. I know there are tracks we are starting to lay in the Central Valley.
No, you're not.
Starting to lay? You know, the whole thing is supposed to be completed by now.
Nope.
Another hot-button topic, amid the Trump administration withholding more than $4 billion for high-speed rail, state leaders set aside $1 billion to finally make the project a reality in the Central Valley.
This is the part that we've been waiting for years and years and years, and to abandon it at this point would be absurd.
Now this action on the state level.
We can't abandon this thing now. We've already wasted billions.
It's been a boondoggle for years. Why cut bait?
We got to finish it. Wasco to Merced. Let's go. Excuse me, Wasco. And now that might not even go to Merced. They might turn it at Madera to go to Gilroy, except they have no way to go through those mountains.
Someone likes garlic.
Now this action on the state level, paralleling movement from the Trump administration to cut clean air protections and funding for climate research. Governor Newsom addressing the White House.
The vandalism that this president has done to our kids and our grandkids, The deficit, the burdens of cleanup costs, and the next generation is a disgrace.
But the California leader also commended this political package's bipartisan nature, promoting a message of unity on both sides of the aisle.
It's always good to be reminded of African proverbs.
Here it is.
He's going to do it again?
Yep.
Good to be reminded of African proverbs. Says you want to go fast, you can go alone. You want to go far, go together.
And not actually from Africa. No one knows where that quote came from.
He is such a snake oil salesman.
And we have made tremendous progress over the course of the last many weeks.
There's the latest in all the things that Gavi signed.
Let's go to Michelle in Santa Clarita. Michelle, hello.
Good afternoon. Well, I think we need to call Governor Newsom our dictator or Czar Newsom, because he's definitely manages the state more like a fascist than any of the people calling all of the conservatives fascists. Between the we must do solar, we must drive an electric car, we can't use gasoline equipment like lawnmowers and stuff, the gasoline stuff. I hate the way that he always uses these big fancy words and tells us all to be mindful when he simply ignores half of the population of the state that are conservative, because he thinks he knows what's best for us and better how to spend our money than we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of projection coming out of Gavin Newsom. Every insult that he throws at Donald Trump, he should look in the mirror on, because it should hit a little close to home for him. But this guy has a one-track mind, and that one track is making sure he moves from Sacramento to Washington, D.C., because he wants to be the next president of the United States, and everything is looked at through that prism. And he clearly thinks that by sticking with the bullet train and doing all the things that he did with these bills, that will help him become president. I don't think that that's going to happen. I know that right now he's doing well in the polls in the Democratic primary, but I just can't imagine the rest of the country buying what he's selling. I just can't. We're dumb enough to do it here.
I agree with you.
But I don't think they'll do it in Arizona or Nevada.
Well, Wisconsin, Texas, the other states I go to, I talk to them, and they go, how do you stand it? And I say, well, God forbid he runs for president, because you'll look at seeing that in your states, and they just look at me in horror. And I'm going, well, then make sure you tell all your friends and family and whatnot, don't vote for him if he ever ends up on the ticket, because that will be, I hate using these big things, but it'll be the end of America as we know it.
All right, thank you for the call. Let's go to Mike in San Jose. Mike, hello.
How you doing?
Good.
If you have a car that I believe it was 2016, it might be 2020, but they already put black boxes on them, so they know exactly what you're doing and where you are. And if your registration was $600, that was a bargain. I'm paying $900.
$900?
Oh my God.
And I got a Chevy pickup, Silverado.
Well, that's totally ridiculous.
I wear tennis socks when I go in DMV.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. And none of this is considering what's going on right now with insurance, where my auto insurance with no accidents, no tickets went up 97% this last time.
Maybe they used a Drove and they saw how you drive.
That's possible. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, with the end of the show quickly approaching, if you want to continue listening to us after we sign off at 3, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. You can listen to all of our coverage over the years of soon-to-be ex-governor Gavin Newsom.
Feces everywhere. No compassion.
And coming up later on this week, we're going back on the road.
We are going back to the Universal Hilton to help out the Union Rescue Mission as they're going over the edge for a cause. It's happening this Friday and Saturday at the Universal Hilton, where you can rappel down a 25-story building. I did it last year. It was an experience. Every dollar raised helps the Union Rescue Missions work with people experiencing homelessness, and they'll match it up to $500,000. You can sign up, donate, or share with your friends by going to the website urm.org/OTE.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Lyndon in Laguna Woods. Lyndon, hello.
Hey, John, you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I talked to you about 4 years ago. Remember, I'm the one that had a little scree on going to LA City Schools. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. I got a little something I want to throw in here. That Randy Weingarten is a total fraud, and everybody knows it. And it's not that big of a real union. Also, a little factoid for you. Talking to one of my friends, we both are alumni of LA Communist School District, and he says to me, he says, "Hey, you remember in our school," he said, "we had lots of asphalt everywhere, but in front of the principal's office was a nicely manicured lawn always." I said, "Yeah, even in high school, they let us out if we were a senior. You could go out on the front lawn for a half an hour and eat lunch and look at the world." So there you go.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. Let's go to Darren in the Bay Area. Darren, hello.
Hi, hello. Thanks for taking my call. I believe I heard not too long ago that California is paying around $10 billion a year to give illegals medical. I mean, just think where that money could go. I believe that's correct. Isn't that correct?
Well, there was a big push in Sacramento to provide more health care, more dollars to health care for Medi-Cal for illegal aliens. And that became a massive food fight between the Democrats and Gavin Newsom over just exactly how many dollars would be spent. Randy, I don't have the exact dollar amount, but Medi-Cal was essentially going into the red because of it, if I remember right.
$7 billion. First $2 billion, then $3 billion, then another $2 billion.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's not to mention the food, housing, and schooling as well. I mean, and I'm really not a racist person. I think Hispanic people are lovely people. They're very, very friendly, very kind, most of them. But we cannot be expected as the taxpayers of California to have to pay for the citizens of another country. That's not right.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone has to pay for it, and the taxpayers in the state of California are the ones that are given the bill.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate that about this place. I really do.
Which is part of the reason why I think Gavin Newsom won't play in Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Georgia. I just can't see them signing up for this. I can't.
I cannot believe that the people in the Rust Belt, well, maybe not the Rust Belt, but the Midwest could look at California and say, oh, yeah, I really want some of that. I don't think he's going to have a chance. But, you know, like my ex-wife says, you know, you never say never. So I don't know. It's scary to think about.
Wait, why is that something your ex-wife says?
Oh, she's my best friend. We're good friends now. So I don't know. That's just her saying. That's what she said. So.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir.
There's a story there.
I'm sure there is. Let's go to Ted in Latuna Canyon. Ted, hello.
Yeah, the fellow that was complaining about his truck costing, $100,000. That's what they sold him the truck for, and that's the reason the renewal is so high. I mean, I collect old cars, and some of them cost much more than that, and I have to pay it every year. I hate it because there's no representation. Going to the DMV doesn't do you a damn bit of good. But, you know, it needs to be changed.
Has anyone ever told you sound like John Stossel?
John Aston.
Okay, Gomez. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that.
What time is happy hour?
All right. We spend a lot of time on this program talking about Las Vegas because I am a chronic gambler after all. But it's not just Las Vegas that occasionally makes the news in the state of Nevada. Sometimes it's Reno, sometimes it's Tahoe. It's never really Elko, but today it's Primm.
State Line is going through another crisis because a lot of the casinos have closed. I guess if you're so desperate to gamble that you're going to go to Primm, you'll just go to a tribal casino anyway.
I think that's part of what's going on with Las Vegas, with Primm, with Laughlin, with Reno. You want to talk about a town that's a ghost town, go to downtown Reno, where they have some of those big casinos and hotels that are just boarded up. And it's like a checkerboard. You'll have a fully operational casino and hotel, then you'll have an abandoned one, and then you'll have one that's fully operational again. It's a wild place.
When you go to People Watch in Reno, are there more oxygen tents or people?
True story. True story. I was checking into the hotel. I think it was the Silver Legacy. And I go up to the guy and I go, hey, I'm not from here, obviously. I'm getting a hotel room. I'm looking for good Mexican food. Do you have any recommendations for Mexican food in Reno? And he goes, oh, yeah, there's a real good place down the street. I go, okay, what's the name? He goes, Chipotle. Thanks for nothing.
Well, let's find out what's going on in Primm. Here is a report from 8 News Now in the Vegas area.
Well, you'll most likely drive through Primm either on your way or coming back from California. It was once a place with a lot of different options for shopping, for hotels, gambling.
Gas stations.
And restrooms.
You know, they could really use a Buc-ee's. If Buc-ee's ever comes west of Texas, they could use one at Primm State Line.
Oh, they'd clean up there.
But it's really changed over the past few months.
It's the spot where you know you're almost home. And with Whiskey Pete...
No, you're not almost home. What are you talking about? The last time I drove home from Vegas, it took about 8 hours, and I believe we were at 7 hours to go once we hit State Line.
That's miserable.
Yep.
And with Whiskey Pete's closed and Buffalo Bills limited to concerts, the town is looking pretty empty.
Okay, what kind of talent are they booking at Buffalo Bills?
I think it's a lot of the mariachi bands.
That roller coaster gets shut down at Terrible's Casino?
There's not much going on.
8 News Now reporter Ryan Tizmaneski checked out what's left.
Whiskey Pete's closed in December.
When we drove in, it was like, there's no cars. What's happening?
And Buffalo Bills.
I really want to meet the people that decided for their vacation, they were planning on going to Primm.
That's like going to Disneyland, but not actually getting a ticket and spending all of your time at the Earl of Sandwich right outside the gate.
And Buffalo Bills stopped gaming and lodging in July. The desolate parking lots and buildings may conjure up the image of a ghost town, but while Whiskey Pete's and Buffalo Bills stand empty, there are a few people who are reporting heavy foot traffic, like here at Santa Thrift, the only store left in the outlet mall.
Wait a second. A thrift store is thriving in Primm?
And it's the one thing that's left open in that entire mall?
The only clientele left to go to Primm Valley are the real cheapskates.
You know what else they have out there? Obviously on the California side. They have a little liquor store where you can buy lotto tickets. Because there's not enough gambling in Nevada.
It's a sprawling thrift store offering sanitized clothes, furniture.
I'm glad they tell us that the clothing is sanitized.
Well, you know there's a story behind that if they have to specify.
Sanitized clothes, furniture, and more with items as cheap as 99 cents. Whether it's the prices or the location, employees like Mark Julian say it's a...
You know, the kind of person that goes to buy discount furniture at the Prim thrift store is the same kind of person that won't secure that furniture to their vehicle when they're driving it home on the 15.
Okay, so what's left out there now? You have all those solar panels that kill all the birds, and then I think you have a prison right at the base of the mountains.
That's about it. And this thrift store.
Whether it's the prices or the location, employees like Mark Julian say it's a busy business.
We're so surprised and I would say blessed to have a lot of foot traffic, especially when there's an event in Las Vegas going on, like the fight that just happened or the lottery ticket.
I don't know if that's the same clientele.
No, it's not.
I don't know if the people that are spending thousands of dollars to go see the fight are the same people that are spending dollars to go to the thrift store.
So let's go to Las Vegas, Randy. We can drop tens of thousands of dollars to watch a fight and stay at a very expensive hotel on the Strip. And then right after that, we're going to swing by an abandoned hotel and watch a mariachi concert.
Julian says that Santa Thrift can see hundreds of customers each day, sometimes even around 1,000. While most of the time customers are people passing through town, he says shoppers also come from Prim Valley Resort and Casino. The resort is the only property left for people to stay at.
We have
I really want to know who stays there.
It's got to be people who are too cheap to pay the Strip prices, and they figure, okay, we'll just drive in and out of Las Vegas from State Line. I guess they're the non-drinking types. Or maybe it's people that live in places like Barstow and Victorville, and they just want to go out there and gamble. But it's closer to Morongo. There are plenty of Indian casinos in California that are now significantly closer and easier to get to than Prim.
I've just never understood it. If you're going to go all the way to cross the state line, why not go the extra 45 minutes to just get to South Las Vegas?
We have family that was staying at Prim that shop here. They love it, you know. So, yeah.
Did they tell you that?
What other options did they have?
Okay, here's a question. Where's the thrift store getting all their clothing from?
I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it would be a fun vacation to me to hang out in an abandoned mall with only a thrift store that's left and stay at an abandoned hotel.
Bless this news station for trying to make this a rosy story, but it didn't sound like one to me.
So, yeah, a lot of people from the casino, too, that comes in here.
So while Prim is not the bustling travel hub it was in its glory days,
Was it ever?
At one point in time, people would go there, but that was pre-Indian gaming.
It was, you have such an addiction to gambling, you can't even wait the extra hour to get to the Strip.
And there are plenty of people out there who are like that.
It's still got things to do, and it also has potential. UNLV professors in economics and hospitality tell 8 News Now that Prim could be a valuable area if the Southern Nevada Supplemental Airport is built, which is expected to...
Wait, you fly into Prim? To go where?
What airline is going to service that airport?
Well, it's not going to be Spirit. They'll be out of business by then.
Maybe Allegiant? I don't know.
Which is expected to break ground by 2029. Reporting in Prim, Ryan Tismaneski, 8 News Now.
So while the gaming floor and hotel over at Buffalo Bills is closed, the resort's Star of the Desert Arena is open for concerts, shows, and other events.
Okay, I got to see who's playing there.
I'm telling you, the last time I checked, it was nothing but mariachi bands. These are bands with huge followings that you've never heard of before. They all look like bullfighters. They dress like it.
September 27th, you can go to The Price is Right live on stage.
Drew Carey's going to Prim?
I don't think it's affiliated with the actual TV show.
So they just have some random guy hosting a show that exists on television by someone else?
It says a celebrity host. It does not say Drew Carey.
Okay, so Clay Aiken. I could see him playing Prim.
But yes, for the most part, there are quite a few mariachi bands out there, and I'm sure they're selling out.
Yeah, that's a whole world that exists that is just under our radar. And Randy, we have some news from your second home, the state of New Mexico.
You know, there's a lot of dumb ideas that start in California and then they start to spread to other places. New Mexico, like a lot of other states, has a big fentanyl problem. So what's the answer? Why, a Narcan vending machine, of course.
Does Walt White approve?
You know what's funny is you go around New Mexico and all the city buses have pictures of Bryan Cranston, who did a campaign where he put back on the Heisenberg hat and said, "Don't litter in my town." For more, here's KOAT in Albuquerque.
Fentanyl and opioid overdoses remain a huge problem in New Mexico communities, but organizations are working to offer solutions to prevent deaths from growing. Julian Para shows us how Valencia County is joining in on this effort.
Well, the New Mexico Department of Health says every 8.5 hours, a person in the state dies from a drug overdose.
There's not that many people in New Mexico. Their population's going to be zero soon.
No, and the entire population's in like 2 cities.
The entire state population of New Mexico is smaller than the population of the San Fernando Valley.
I believe it.
2 million people.
And that's why organizations want to step up and give people the choice of free Narcan through a vending machine. One of those organizations...
Was the barrier to Narcan that people had to pay for it?
I'll take a Dr. Pepper, some Cool Ranch Doritos, and why not some Narcan?
You know what's the wildest scene? If you ever have to go to the pharmacy because you were prescribed or whoever you live with was prescribed an opiate because of an injury or something, boy, they walk you through how to use that Narcan.
One of those organizations is...
We got so scared, we're like, maybe we'll just take the aspirin.
One of those organizations is New Mexico Women and Leadership. The executive director believes opioids are only getting...
Okay, this sounds like another nonprofit that's getting a whole lot of money for nothing.
All I've heard is the name of the organization, and I already can tell it's a scam.
New Mexico Women in Leadership. We want Narcan vending machines, no more Funyuns for you.
The executive director believes opioids are only getting stronger, and the Department of Health says more people are dying from them in the state.
So shouldn't we do more to make sure people don't have the opiates?
That's what normal people think.
Because I got news for you. The new blends out there of fentanyl with the Tranq and the xylazine, Narcan doesn't even work on that.
How long before they start advocating for passing out Narcan to trick-or-treaters?
That's why she and her...
I bet you that's what happens if you trick-or-treat at you-know-whose house.
Yeah.
100%.
That's why she and her team wanted to invest in this project.
I have been doing some work with Presbyterian Healthcare, Davina and Joanne Nez, and we were trying to figure out where could we put a Narcan vending machine where we could offer free Narcan to the public. We felt like that if we got this in the hand of first responders, police officers, and got it in a fire department where it's easily accessible, we can start saving lives in New Mexico.
I think they already have it.
Wouldn't healthcare professionals, in theory, people like EMTs?
Well, it's this ideology that anybody could OD on fentanyl, so we all should be carrying Narcan in our keychain.
The organization says machines are spread out across the country, but this is the first year New Mexico is starting to use them. They also include gun locks and have had to restock their machines since putting them in. Tonight, I'll show you how to use them and how they are being utilized.
I guess it's a slow news day and nobody got murdered in Albuquerque.
Give it time.
Tonight, I'll show you how to use them and how they are being utilized in places like Valencia County. For KOAT Action 7 News, I'm Julian Paras.
Julian, thank you. New Mexico Women in Leadership say they have also installed another Narcan and gun lock vending machine in Sandoval County at the Health Commons building there.
Oh, boy, I'm going to have to check that out.
That is quite a combination. You see, kids, the bad ideas here, they spread other places, and we're seeing it now with the Narcan.